for quite a bit. I think they based his team all around him. It's a lot like AUI on TI5 EG. He kind of had 3 or 4 heroes, and I think the Liquid treats him the same. So they build all their strategy around his heroes. And more than anything, Darkseer enables Slardar to have a laning phase. Like, you can go to the Slardar, you can get shelled, and you can get surged. And immediately they pick the lane matchup counter versus Darkseer, which is Necrophos. Necrophos does not really care about Darkseer in lane. The wave will push into you, and most carries are going to care about the Iron Shell, but Necrophos' spells are really good at just gaining your HP back. And he's just going to sit there, and he can solo the Darkseer.
10 seconds remaining.
And also, when they pick the Ogre, they always try and help mid. So this Ogre's purpose is to help mid, and the Necrophos' purpose is to sit against the Darkseer in lane. So now Lil can play anything he wants, and to own the map, this opens up his heroes like Enchantress and Chen, things like this.
So Smail, I want to ask a little bit about why you were so hyped about the Ogre first pick.
I mean, it's just a pleasure to watch solo, as I said yesterday. And I think it really, to be honest, it really enables how VP plays. And I think it's their best hero, in my opinion, because the way he enables all the players on the team.
Yeah.
And he just gets the hero, to be honest. He understands how to move, and the movement of him as an Ogre is amazing.
Yeah, one of the worst feelings ever is when you're playing an Ogre Magi trying to roam to influence the map, and everywhere you show up, you can't do anything. It's almost like you get to make the mistake and find out it was wrong 30 seconds later.
No, Sumil, you probably played versus the solo Ogre that sits mid and has Orb of Venom, right?
I mean, I've been in this situation before, and I would love to see enemy mid be in that situation as well.
Yeah.
It's not a fun time to be in that situation, but it's a good watch, I think.
But the thing about Liquid is they don't really care how their mid matchup goes. I see a lot of games where they're one of the few teams at this tournament, they pick these heroes that don't care how the laning phase goes. It's a lot like LFY, what Sumil was saying yesterday about Super. He plays these heroes like Dragon Knight that don't care. They're always going to get their items and farm. And the same thing like Matoma Man plays like mid Broodmother, heroes like that. So there's the Wyvern suddenly.
Do you think the Death Prophet last game was an example of that? That Death Prophet struggled versus the Bloodseeker, but was still...
I actually think DP is one of the heroes you kind of do need to help, because he's not like... He does need to get farm, but DK, he doesn't need to get that much out of lane. He's always gonna do Dragon Knight things. He's gonna run up, attack some tower. But yeah, so interesting Wyvern pick here.
How do you feel about it, Pycat?
Liquid have, I think, a really strong... I've actually been on the fence about this Winter Wyvern. I think, I mean, you guys played it, and I've seen it being played by a couple other guys, and it didn't do so well. And but I do think it's actually pretty nice to get with Slardar. You amp someone, and then you ult him with the Wyvern, and it usually ends up killing him. It's also nice with Darkseer because you can vac people into the ult.
Yeah.
So I do like the synergy that they have.
I think the thing is, this hero people look at his ult, but I don't think
Did you describe his ult earlier as, quote, garbage?
I mean, I just feel like you don't play this hero around his ult. It's not a good way to look at it. You need to play this hero on his save and his Q. I mean, his Q got really buffed.
So as a Wyvern, I think of as a bull. On paper, it's like everything, but it's just weird.
What?
I don't know.
Why are you flaming me, man?
I mean, I'm just...
no, keep going.
I mean, that's my best example I can give. That hero is everything on paper, but when you pick it, you just feel like, what the fuck?
It feels a bit lackluster, the hero, sometimes. Yeah, I do agree, and I think that's what we've seen in a few games in this tournament. The hero has looked a little bit underwhelming, but I do like the synergy that they have here.
Extremely defensive support with Dazzle, of course the Shallow Graves.
Just like you plucked this tournament, man.
Sure, man. That's a good Dazzle pick, I think. Because I think Liquid is relying on bursting someone with the Wyvern, and Dazzle stopped that. But the problem with Dazzle pick is they have no catch on their supports now, and they're both of their supports are lane secure more than being scary of the map.
I think this is a no one Queen of Pain pick soon.
So it's a Invoker for Miracle.
Yeah. This is what Sumil said is really important. If you look at the support duo on VP, I feel that the Dazzle and the Ogre, they're the same hero. They both want to do the same thing, and then I feel like
could you elaborate on that?
They both just want to sit there in the lane and not move. Like Ogre doesn't want to move around that much. You know, he just wants to sit, maybe ignite some people, and Dazzle kind of wants to do the same. And then I feel like that's not a good way to play in this patch. And then I feel like putting Lil on a Dazzle is a misuse of his his skill and his strengths as a player. So I'm not a huge fan of VP's Dazzle pick. I feel like they should have picked something that Lil can maybe, even a Chen or an Ench, something he can roam the math with, because that's what I feel his strength is.
I think they can cover that.
Okay,
I don't know what to say.
Well,
I feel like they need more catch, like a lot more catch than they have right now, because this Invoker is going to be a problem at one point. Because no matter how hard you pressure the hero in the game, if your team is playing around you, like it's really easy for Invoker to come back in the game. And I think in this case, Liquid knows, like they're, in my eyes, the best Invoker team, and they have the best Invoker player too. So I think like VP kind of outdrafted themselves here, but let's see what they do. Maybe this like gonna
5 seconds
stampede over them.
yeah, I've heard players talking about how with Nyx in the pool, Invoker can be tough to play, but of course with the Ogre Magi and Dazzle already picked, Virtus.Pro needs 2 more cores.
I think this matchup is so hard though for the Invoker, isn't it? The Ogre plus Viper. We played versus, when VP played
that'll be
versus us,
tough for sure.
we picked Shadow Fiend, and let me tell you, Abba did not have fun playing versus Viper Ogre on his hill. He did not have fun at all.
I think Liquid have a really strong kind of team fight right now, but I do think that VP's laning stage is really strong, and if VP can kind of run them over with this Viper, Ogre, and this Dazzle, the Necrophos is pretty fine on his own lane against the Darkseer, and then they can kind of pressure the other lanes, and if they can get far ahead enough, like far ahead in the early game, I think they can kind of they can snowball that.
Do you think that Virtus.Pro needs to double down on that with this last pick, or do you think they need to hedge that?
You think what pick they can pick here? It's
They need some kind of catch. Yeah.
Sanking. Yeah, that was good. Okay.
Was
so
it good? I feel like VP's late game doesn't skill like anywhere close to how Liquid's late game skill.
I think they're not going for late game though.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah,
I think they're going for
not,
this.
They're just gonna go all in lanes, and I think what Liquid does with Invoker is they play around mid, like they actually would just try lane. Like that's how they played in Epicenter, and I think they're gonna do it again. They have like all the heroes and all the like, all they need for like to be able to trial in mid, and I think Vyron's just gonna sit mid and Slar just gonna play around bottom and mid with Darkseer. So I personally I don't think like VP can actually roll over Liquid, but if they can, like that's their best shot to be honest.
I think Matu wants Ursa here this game.
It's a pretty bad Ursa game.
I think he just wants something to solo the Sanking. I'm not sure what else there is.
Yeah, you want to have a core that can just pretty much sustain all
I
alone.
can see a Brood
the
Mother
Invoker.
incoming right now.
For Sanking?
I think so. I don't know. It seems
I don't
like
know about
fine
Brood.
game, man.
I don't know what Brood this game. I think just they just need something to solo the Sanking.
What if they put Brood mid? I don't know. They're crazy.
Oh, they could. Oh.
Do you think VP are gonna help their Sanking, or you think they're just gonna leave him alone?
I think they'll do Ogre or Viper mid,
And
Necrophos versus Darkseer, and Dazzle Sanking. It's like the old Dazzle Sanking from like last year before TI, like Wings and Navi did this like Sanking plus Dazzle, Sanking plus Chen. If you remember before TI6, I think they're just going to do the same. Like Sanking plus Dazzle, really strong lane. But the Caustic did get nerfed quite a bit. But so it accomplishes it. You just push the wave in, so they can't pull on their supports. But Liquid doesn't ever really pull on their supports, so yeah.
So Sumail, it sounds like you think the story of this match is, can Virtus.Pro shut down the Invoker? And if the answer is yes, they'll probably win quickly, and if no, Team Liquid will be able to sustain in the late game.
I wouldn't say that exactly, because even if they like shut him down, they have a lot of team fight on Liquid. Like they pick Faceless too, so it's really, really difficult for VP to go high ground at all. And once this game goes like past 35 to 40 minutes, I think it's gonna be really rough for VP.
35 to 40 minutes, a danger period for Virtus.Pro, but as we've seen, with their interesting drafting, they've been able to accomplish a whole variety of interesting wins. And will they be able to tie it up here with elimination on the line? Take it away, casters.
40 to 45 minutes being the danger period, Sin. I don't know. I reckon it's more around the 140 minute is the danger period.
This game will not be 100 minutes. I guarantee it. This will not be 100 minutes.
Okay, but you want to rescind that? You're happy to lock it in, Cindy?
I'm locking it in. This game is not 100 minutes, but it could go longer than 30-40. I think Virtus.Pro's lineup has some potential to win later on as well, but I'm a big fan of Liquid's late game overall more than VP's. But we've seen VP pull off some great late game plays with heroes where you feel like it wouldn't be able to defeat the opposing team. I think overall the panel is right. The approach here for VP has to be win your lanes, snowball, take the towers, try to limit the Invoker's impact. I'm not sure about this Void last pick either, by the way, because yes, Liquid's teamfight is now completely amazing, but this is not a hero that has a particularly good matchup against the Sand King. Void actually loses all lanes here. He can't beat Viper, he can't beat Necro, and I think he can't beat Sand King either. That's probably the best one of the 3 lanes for Void, but neither of the lanes is favorable. Invoker is an awful matchup against Viper, in my opinion. And then you have the Necro against Darkseer. So I think VP are set up here to be able to win 3 lanes if they get the lanes they want.
So the whole concept of Team Liquid's high ground defense is fantastic. Only really pays off if they can get something out of the lanes. But
yeah,
the panel said it as well as you. Like, running Ogre plus Viper in the mid is something that no one wants to play against. And it's Miracle who's the one who has to do it. If these other lanes don't work out for them, then, well, we may be going to a third matchup, and Virtus.Pro could just push their way through. No one, if he gets a really good start, if he gets really good farm, he could be that damage dealer to push into the base. They just need the extra pick, and Virtus.Pro already looking for one of those. Aggressively moving over, they want to contest Team Liquid's rune. And Liquid, well, they're not even coming for it. Invoker is backing off. He doesn't want to fight this. So Solo will take the first rune. GH, okay, TP is coming in. The double crush from GH. Mind Control will arrive as well. They want to fight this one out. The low life is on GH. Lil is burning. Kuro's doing the work. Lil will actually fall first. And maybe they get more, but GH is done. Ramsey's in trouble. Solo wants to get out, but he's body blocked up. That Ogre just doesn't fit through the hole. And Ramsey's will back up. So a double kill for Mind Control. Nice start for a Darkseer to have.
Amazing TP. That was so good from MC to realize that they could pull that off, get those kills. It was a nice heal bomb from Dazzle, but they didn't have enough in the tank to get those kills. What this does, however, do is it forces Liquid into the lanes I feel like they don't want. So now the Mind Control has a good head start on Darkseer, which is important, but I think Ramses will have no problem regardless playing this top lane. The mid lane is the Ogre Viper against the Invoker, plus maybe half a Wyvern, and the bottom will be that Sand King versus Void. Now, disregarding what just happened with those first 2 kills, I have a feeling that this has the potential to be one of those 25-minute VP games where if they snowball the lanes, get mech and pipe, and just look to high ground with this Necro and an Aegis with the Viper, it's going to be difficult for Team Liquid. We saw VP pull off a similar strategy against LFY. They did lose, but they were looking very good in that game. And in many ways, Liquid's lineup maybe has some weaknesses that LFY's didn't in that particular setup. So it's going to be very interesting to see here.
Yeah, they at least have that first little advantage. They're baiting in towards the mid lane, trying to get Sol to come closer. Kuro. Arctic Burn is still on cooldown, and Miracle, well, he's got Sunstrike available. But GH was looking for the wraparound to try and attack this mid.
This lane is very difficult to kill. Both heroes are tanky. Viper and Ogre. You bringing in the Slardar and the level 2 Wyvern. Without Splinter Blast, he chose to skill the Cold Embrace, so just sustaining Miracle here. While GH is going to run Lil down and make sure he at least gets the bounty rune. So a little bit of a steal here from GH. It's one of Slardar's strengths as a hero, is his ability to do exactly this.
I love this little play from Pasha. He just did on bottom lane. He's actually forced the salve out from the Faceless Void because he burrow striked him at the same time. He had 3 creeps attacking, being affected by Caustic Finale. So Batumberman already having to burn through. Like, he brought 8 tangos and a salve. He's down to 4 tangos on that bottom lane against the SK. Pasha is just the dream time for him. But no one's up a very long way. GH going to try and wrap around through the top. The Arctic Burn will slow him down. Solo, a quick stun as well. He is rather tanky. That's 8 armor they have to get through. But 8 armor is enough when you bring 3 heroes to attack. But then again, they're still taking so much. He almost did himself a secondary stun on GH, which would have potentially given a kill to no one.
It's important that these plays work out for Liquid. They're kind of tri-laning mid and still losing. So, you know, you have to find at least the kills to ensure this Vokra game. He's 6-1 against the 12-8 of Viper. A lot of denies is going to limit Miracle's experience gains a lot, especially with supports also taking some of his levels. And now see Solo. I mean, he dies. He's an Ogre.
Yeah.
Ogre isn't too smart, so he's just going to go back. And this time he won't die though.
He's the ultimate meat shield.
It is the way to play it, though. I think Solo dying like this once or twice is not that big of a deal, actually. This is how he should play. If he forces Liquid to focus this much on mid while the other lanes are going well, then mission accomplished. It's okay to tank a death or 2 on that.
He's got Miracle at 8-1 CS to the 16-10 of no one. You're very happy with this. And Ramsey's enjoying his time up on top lane because Darkseer throws an Iron Shell, but he doesn't care too much. He can keep his lane sustained. GH and Mind Control, they're tag teaming who's going back and who's farming these small little camps. They're getting as much out of the jungle as possible so they can keep up. But the lanes still belong to Virtus.Pro. The top 3 networks belong to the top 3 cores of Virtus.Pro as well.
I think so. this may sound weird, but I actually think this TP for the double kill in the start from Mind Control was not worth it. I actually think it hurt Liquid in the end.
That's a crazy concept to have.
It is, right? Because you get 2 kills, but you set yourself up for the lanes you didn't want. Miracle has a haste, he's going to be fine, run away.
I like how he taunts as he just runs circles around Solo for half a second.
But this is the dream scenario for VP, is getting these exact lane matchups. If there would have been Darkseer against the Sand King top, the Darkseer would have had a lot better of a time, and Void against Necro bottom is surely not great, but he could have probably had a similar situation to this overall. And VP are reaping the rewards of once their Darkseer is TP top, he can't come back bottom. It takes too long, so they have to commit to these lanes. Now they have the choice of swapping lanes around if they wish, but for now they seem content to just flat out get out farmed. Like this mid lane especially is an absolute beatdown from no one.
I just can't believe, too, the Virtus.Pro, like we talk about their advantage in the laning phase, and we are focusing on this a lot, but with this early farm, they're going to get the critical items they want to then start the fights, and maybe that's where we look towards the timings of Team Liquid. You're getting a lot of farm at Tubberman, you're going to have that Chronosphere. It was the 5th pick up from Liquid. They wanted the counter, team fight against Virtus.Pro. Are Liquid going to be ready when BP try and start knocking on the Tier 1 towers?
I think it comes just as much down to what itemization VP go for. I really like just the idea of going mech pipe or something like that.
Miracle. He may be dead. Solo's rotating in around the back of the tower thanks to the observer. They know there's not many people there to help. Bakuro hiding in the trees with the cold snap. No one. The Sunstrike. He feels it coming and moves direction. He's got a lot of resistance, but not that much. Has to run up the river, and they're all chasing him. A quick fairy fight gets up the hill. GH, he's got the stun. He's got Sprint coming off cooldown. Shrine's available. No one. He can't trigger it just yet. Now he can do it. With Lil arriving, there isn't much mana for them to work with. In fact, both of them, in fact, all 3 of them are practically dry for mana.
Important TP from Lil. That heal saved no one. And GH immediately identified that he couldn't die for that kill, so he backs off and lets them try. But it's a good amount of pressure being put here by Liquid. Still, their Invoker is an absolute struggle land. You need to find some sort of way into this game for Miracle, who's currently a full Midas away from a Midas.
He's got double null talisman
6
boot at the point where he's like maybe, like in 2 minutes time he would have wanted to have that hand of Midas.
That's a good Invoker.
That's a good Invoker game.
In this kind of lane,
this
it's
is like
definitely
a 14, 15 minute in Midas.
If he gets Midas in this matchup, if you get Midas like maybe 11, I think you're happy. But at this point, that doesn't even seem that likely. If he dies just once, it should be delayed more than that. BP are having a great time, but need to look forward for that big team fight that Liquid definitely do have the possibility of pulling off. Actually, TP in from GH.
Yep, they're looking for their target. Solo was walking underneath that Radiant Observer ward. Support's coming in. Pasha has that level 3 Burrow Strike, so he's going to have the distance trying to escape it. But Tubberman goes for the Chronosphere. Solo can land his stump, but with the Sunstrike kicking in, there's enough damage on Pasha. Sandstorms, but the bash! First time lock, 3 points up in it from Faceless Void.
Oh, Miracle got
We
the
really
kill.
wanted it. GH is chasing at the moment to find Solo, but it's way too deep.
Miracle really happy to get that kill. He's currently level 5 to the 7 of Viper and can't lane anymore, so he's full-time jungling. That means if those little investments where he helps out with a Sunstrike and maybe an attack or 2 there gives him the kill, it's very rewarding for him to bring him back into this game.
He's
As
still
far as
sitting
Liquid's...
at 1950 net worth to the 2.8, 2.9k of no one, but you're right, it is a start.
Yeah, it's not good, but it's probably the best that's going to happen for now. As far as the other heroes on Liquid go, they're doing pretty well. Both the Darkseer with the 43 to the 53 is a good result, I would say, in this lane for Darkseer against Necro. Obviously had the double kill to help him out in the beginning, but still lost the lane. And the Void is doing very well on the bottom lane, Matumbaman, with a quick rotation for the kill and straight back to farming. So I'm very curious once again to see this itemization from VP. Are we going to see the Greaves mech, or Greaves pipe, I mean, or are we going to see some more BKB-centric, or just heavy stat spot up? Because they have 2 heroes in this game that could actually carry that mechanism. For example, both Viper and Necro could technically get something like that. We could see some heavy stats build from Viper with like Dragonlance Sanjay Yasha.
I can imagine the Dragonlance Sanjay Yasha will probably be a better choice for the Viper, just because he's going to be the one dealing the damage to the buildings and not Ramses. So he's going to need that distance. But Ramses, he's going to go in for Rod of Atos. So it's more of the standard item we've seen on the Necros, mainly more on the offlane Necros. But they're going for the control. So if you are going to get these items, it's kill into momentum. The rest of the money will come in once the Tier 1 towers start falling for Virtus.Pro.
Yep.
Mind Control's still going to try and hold this top. That's the
smoke
Iron
from-
Shell to drag the creep wave down. It's the only safe way to do it without risking his life.
And VP's smoke in mid failed. They tried to wrap around on mid with the Viper and Ogre and didn't find anything. Miracle was very far away from that and just farming up the other side. So not too much coming out of this VP aggression just now. Bottom lane. Matoma thinking about it, he doesn't have Chrono ready.
He's almost posturing, forcing a reaction.
Yeah, he's
out.
scared to TP down.
Well, bring Solo in. They're a little bit low on mana, so it looks like VP will burn the bottom shrine. This is underneath the Observer Wards. This is why, like, Matoma knows exactly what he can get away with. Having both of those Observer Wards watching the Ancients, watching behind the tower, and then another one between the Tier 1 and Tier 2 tower. Very focused vision from Team Liquid on the southern part of the VP side of the map.
Yeah, now that the Invoker is playing the left side in that jungle, he's probably going to be just fine and safe. If they have any sort of hero scouting there, mainly GH will probably be revolving around this mid area together with Kuroki and try to keep Miracle safe. And then Matoma Man is the one who has to play alone. So if he has this kind of information, he should be able to do just fine. Now top tower is being pushed by VP. They got it down to about half. And now Viper is joining. They want to commit for this.
Yep. Liquid have vision thanks to the Observer Ward on the hillside nearby, but it's the choice. Do you want to fight this with an Invoker who's still trying to reach his hand of Midas? With GH, who doesn't even have level 6 yet? You don't have that amplification. Even if you do, I don't think he's got a way to get in there and get it off without dying. But GH just running for the bounty runes. So that's it. They're just trying to get the best they can out of the rest of the map. But this Tier 1 tower belongs to VP.
Yep, goes to Viper. And he is indeed going for the Dragon Lance first. Keeping into mid to defend here. Miracle getting whatever pressure he can with that alacrity. Actually doing a pretty good job at bringing this tower down to half. Now has to back off, and well, he might actually end up getting a 12-minute Midas at this rate. That's pretty damn good.
Even Matoma was pushing the bottom tower in, is forcing Ramses to come down. So VP going to take Ramses off that top lane for the first time.
I think they wanted to anyway, though. Ramses, this is the natural progression for his hero.
They're going mid. The TP in from Matoma, but they just want to chrono up no one. Guarantee the kill on the Viper, and they're going to get it. Nothing will keep that Viper alive.
5 heroes.
Lil was trying to get there, but it wasn't going to happen. And now they can take the Tier 1 tower in mid, so Team Liquid keeping up with the tower kills.
Are they trying to?
Okay, that is one big tower.
So what I was going to say with this Necro rotation bottom is, yes, it was half forced by the Void, but at the same time, Necro wants to get down here. You've taken this top tower. There's not too much more to gain in that lane right now. It's going to be a thing for later, but now you want to get this bottom tower and start getting into the Radiant jungle. So you want to move your Necro and or Viper down there and start spreading the pressure out on the map. And Necro seems to be getting this tower for free. It's a little bit of a rotation in from Pasha, but he's not even needed. So Ramses will claim this one. He is getting very farmed. This is a 12-minute Atos 1 Treads with an additional almost 1,000 gold to boot here on the Necro. Is the big breadwinner of the game by more than 1,000 gold down to the Faceless Void.
It seems crazy when you keep looking at the VP lineup. You wonder just how do they die when they get together as 5? If they have the weave defensively up, then where's the physical damage going to come through from Team Liquid? You try and focus on one target. If Dazzle's not caught, then you got Shallow Grave causing you problems.
Kuro mid.
Now, Kuro trying to hold himself in the Cold Embrace. He does have the Winter's Curse if he wants to use it, but he'll die anyway. The Scythe will decapitate him as GH moves back to the Tier 2 tower. The Tubberman's in the neighborhood, but he doesn't have his Chronosphere because they burned it to get that solo kill on the Viper. They don't have the team fight control, and VP making the most of it.
It's a very good point with this weave as well to offset the Slargar physical. If they have a precast weave that's ticked up, then the real damage from Liquid, he's going to be fine. The damage from Liquid is mainly the Invoker, who's having a hard game and Bud is catching up. But what if they itemize against this Invoker? What if they get those BKBs or Glimmer Cape or mobility items like Force Staff to try to get out of Meteor and Invoker combos like Ice Wall? Then it's only the Chrono that gives Liquid the opportunity to take fights. And VP, they have the experience, actually. I think losing that game to LFY is going to help them have a better chance in this game because they can think back on that game and make sure they don't repeat the same mistakes that they made in that one.
VP are coming for a fight. They're moving towards top lane. Miracle already TPing out. Matubman's on his way out too. And GH, doesn't have his Blink Dagger yet, but will make a break for the tree line and then also start up his TP. Or at least he should. Unless Ramses wants to go for a little bit of a look. Actually going for a kill.
Maybe it's nice.
Pasha wants to fight. He's got Blink Dagger and Epicenter available. Yep. Miracle was the better choice for him in the mid. If they can keep the vision up, their Observer Ward's already got dewatered. As Pasha cuts closer and closer. A quick ping did just come out.
Yeah, they have a good read on this. In the meantime, Mind Control is finishing up his mech in bottom. He needs another 150 gold to go. Forced the TP down from Necro. He's going to TP away himself. It's like, this is what I wanted. Goes back to base, gets mana, sells an item, gets mech. And this helps a lot for Liquid's team fight. Of course, as much as we're talking about the defensive items on VP being a good choice, for Liquid's lineup as well, having that extra heal and armor against a hero like Viper can be very nice. And keeping heroes alive against Scythe of Ice. Ramses has bought a hood, by the way. This could be a full pipe that he will be building. Let's have a look at that. He's just pushing bottom lane with no fear. Very aggressive posture from VP's heroes, except the other 4 who are behind their tower.
They're waiting for the fight. Ramses can, well, he can't TP him for 37 seconds, but he believes in the rest of VP to hold him back.
Top tower is under attack.
And they're able to do so. Don't slow down Ramses' progression if it is going to be a full pipe. If it is meant to be that Virtus.Pro approach, do you just rack up the auras? Do you look for something along the lines of like Crimson Guard? Do you look to try and just get as many aura buff ups and let you go high ground? Is this VP also identifying the fact that their Team Liquid defense is really, really strong?
This is VP finding a Frost Dragon.
Oh, Wyvern, get wrecked. Okay, get cursed. Kuro, no, really?
Sick.
Fully.
That was really nice. I think, so Lil has level 3 Sandstorm, and he was the only one not caught in the curse, but he can't kill him by getting out of Sandstorm and attacking. The Sandstorm deals more damage. Kuro, very clutch there. Curse to save his own life. That's still a curse expended, and he has to go back, so I think Liquid will be trying to just trade towers here. This bottom tower is going to be very difficult for them to hold without Winter's Curse.
It's mid and top for the bottom tower.
Yeah, but if they get 2 towers, this is
Pasha, Epicenter, prepping up. He's going to blink and get the Burrow Strike. He's going to get it onto Miracle. Miracle losing life quickly, wants to go invis. Ramses, he just kills him. The Sandstorm damage, you said it was a high level. It burns through the Invoker, who was attempting his TP out. Now you've actually got TPs going to the bottom shrine. It's like they're trying to catch Viper and Lil. That won't happen. TP's already too quick.
Yep. So split pressure from Liquid also saved their tower. They got 2 towers and lost Miracle. I think they should be very happy with this trade. Successfully just getting some more map to farm, slowing down the pace of Virtus.Pro by forcing them to defend their own towers and progressing toward key items. GH Blink Dagger is 600 gold away. I'm imagining we might see a Blink Dagger from Mind Control as well as his next item, so these 2 can combo up completely. Either that or he gets a pipe against this dire side.
They really are just looking to run at him. That's a Radiance build for Ramses.
Oh, interesting.
Yep, and well, quick pings coming out from Kuro, just pinging the fact that Ramses is now joining the fight, and VP is systematically trying to remove these outer towers. Now, they haven't taken out the bottom one, and Matubman's in the perfect position. Pasha, so close, but he cannot smell the Faceless Void. We don't have that kind of, well, reality in the game just yet, as he cut far close enough. One tree separates them, and now Matubman, he'll time walk himself away from the trees. He's looking for the perfect Chronosphere, and he did not have the opportunity.
This is still a difficult tower to push. I think the play here...
Miracle? He doesn't have a TP. 15 seconds before he can use it. SK's TPing over to the tier 1 tower on bottom. They're scanning, looking for to see if he went up north. It didn't happen.
They don't know that he doesn't have TP, and they think he just ran down and TP'd out already, so they're not going to pursue. Miracle will be fine. But yeah, this mid tower is very difficult to push for VP. There's so many good initiation angles from Liquid's side. They can come from multiple. They can flank, they can use smoke to try to defend. The bottom tower is the easiest tier 2 tower to take for the dire side. You just have a better position on the map for them, easier to ward around and cover. So probably going to see Virtus.Pro go down and try to push that tower soon, but looks like Miracle actually never TP'd out. He's just waiting, and now he's TPing. So basically just wasted a lot of time here, and now...
Well, Hand of Midas was already used, so I suppose, hey, success on one front.
Hand of Midas on cooldown, just AFK.
But really good observer was from Virtus.Pro.
Yeah,
they had that one up near the Ancients. They can see when Miracle TP's in. They know if Wyvern's going to try and do a wraparound on the mid. And this is giving space for the rest of VP to farm up. That top lane pushes in with Darkseer Iron Shell, so Sol can farm underneath the tower, but Matubman wants to fight him. Chronosphere is available, but double TPs are on the way. The Sunstrike won't connect, and they have to commit the Chronosphere. Ramses, the extra health, it won't be enough. Matubman starts his time walk away. Mind Control's a little bit too close, but the back will create a little bit more space, as well as the Surge. GH in the neighborhood, they can help out. Viper, maybe he becomes the next target. The Observer Ward sees Matubman TPing down.
The hero VP needed to get that counterplay going was the Sand King, and he didn't TP. They TP'd up heroes without lockdown, and it's a very easy disengage for Liquid's heroes. So they get that kill on the But they had to expend a chrono to get that kill on the Ogre.
Yep.
So, you know, they didn't really get any structural damage. VP are probably like, you know, solo, this is every game you play Ogre in.
Yeah, how many times have we actually seen Solo be that casualty of war which you're very happy to like accept?
That's Ogre life.
It is. It's definitely Solo's life. Pasha's still waiting to try and intercept the creep wave. He's got a decent amount of money, getting closer towards that 4-star on him. Problem is he's got too many like enemies there. Maybe not so much when Miracle stands his ground.
They are not smoking though. VP are going to walk under this ward in a moment. That should...
Does Miracle back up?
Yeah, he should back off here.
You got Kuro there as well, and yep, there it goes. Epicenter from Pasha. He commits at the Burrow strike out. Kuro's nearby, goes for the cold embrace. Of course, the Epicenter still goes through it, and they curse up. No one. Can he get the strike off? No, he cannot get close enough to Invoker. They even put down the sentry wards so they get the vision. GH has Blink Dagger available, a quick time dilation onto Pasha. And this is just more painful than anything else. They'll all back out.
Liquid are doing a very good job not losing heroes though. Gotta say. Only 2 kills for VP 20 minutes in when they have these lane dominators. It's just Liquid reading the map movements very well and trying to maximize their farm. So even with these winning matchups and with these top 2 on net worth, the Sand King is falling a lot behind the Darkseer. That's just the nature of how Sand King has to be off the map for VP's lineup to function. If he keeps showing to farm, then there's not that much threat on the map for Liquid. So whenever Pasha's farming lanes, they're just farming lanes, and he's not going to farm faster than the Darkseer anyway, so it's not really a win.
You actually see him changing his item build as well.
Veil. Yep.
So yeah, moving himself away from the 4-star, thinking that maneuverability would have been the better thing to start with. Now realizing with the Epicenter he needs more damage, but Tubberman needs to live. He's being attacked, the sight's available, but the stun from GH means there's no follow-up damage, but Tubberman can time walk it off, not to mention chronoing up the Necro. Sunstrike will be off the money, and this means now Necro still having that Ghost Shroud available. They don't want to fight into this, the back and wall is nice. GH with a secondary crush, Solo taking too much damage, the Shallow Grave from Lil keeping him alive, but now the Meteorite Pasha will end up burning, and the curse! It's onto Necro! Solo and no one beating him down. There is another Shallow Grave, but the Death Pulse, as well as the Shadow Wave, giving so much regeneration to Virtus.Pro, but it's still 3 kills going in favor of Team Liquid. No one being the big one, standing his ground with that fresh Maelstrom. He's got big DPS. Mind Control, protected by the Cold Embrace. Viper doesn't want him, but it looks like he's got no other choice to surge away from Mind Control, and the regeneration will keep him alive, and he'll keep going even further away, backing the wave, and making it so VP had to repair their lanes after the fight.
Very nice play from Liquid to make the fight happen in that position. This is one of the best places on the entire map to play Winter Wyvern. You can fly in from multiple angles. You have the curse that will, the heroes naturally group up in a very narrow space. You get multiple hero splinter blasts, and Kuroki can just sit back and play from the back of that line and very easily get some very nice spells off. And VP again, they're just not finding the kills. It's like they're a bit lacking in the, this is important. So they try to go for this kill. If this kill happens, that's the end of the fight, but the stun from GH buys time. They don't have enough to kill off the Void with this tanky build with Raindrop and Lincolns. And they have to expend their Ogre stun to break the Lincolns, or rather the Ignite to break Lincolns, then stun, and then follow through with their other heroes, but Sand King is missing again. And now that he comes in, it's too late. The Void already survived. This curse, surprisingly, Ramses doesn't die here. He actually stays alive miraculously. There he dies.
Yeah. It was only a matter of time, but it's also that wonderful position from Team Liquid. They sit up on the hill and they just look down at Virtus.Pro scrambling around, trying to find these kills and trying to force an advantage their way. At the moment, like, we are 22 minutes in, it's a 1k gold lead for Team Liquid. That's pretty negligible. The experience something a little bit more at the tail, where Team Liquid feel like they're getting more and more control into this game, now having a 4k advantage.
But that's the point, right? Is that if you look at the gold graph, it's like if you're playing against an Alchemist and the gold graph is even while Alchemist is farming, you feel like you're winning the game, because in the scope of the game plan, that is a win. And to me, it's a similar thing here, where if Liquid are only 1k gold ahead, that's great. They're playing against lane dominators in an early game lineup.
Team Liquid,
they're not finding the kills.
Smoking out, Sentry War gets planted down by Solo. They're looking for the obs now. They will see that if they go up on the hill. But in the meantime, with Amplification, Roshan being done by Team Liquid, Pasha's moving over. They'll get rid of the obs and Sentry. And Liquid, this Roshan is pretty low. They kind of got to commit to this defensive weave from Lil, trying to make sure that VP do not take the damage from Matumberman. And well, Ramses, okay, not sure about that. TP, Chrono catches all the back lines. Pasha bringing in the damage. Burrow strike into the pit. It's doing a lot of damage to Kuro, so there's no curse for this fight. The Darkseer back wall combining with Deafening Blast combo Miracle. It's done some damage, only enough to kill off the Ogre Magi. Acceptable casualty. Remember this phrase. retreats as Ramses, he stands his ground, set up towards the M, not enough mana for his ultimate, the Sunstrike, it connects! Ramses so low, he's going to steer clear of the Aegis before potentially he dies. GH able to surge away. Miracle, not so lucky. No one able to track him down, but Tubberman, all he could do was watch. And now it's Virtus.Pro to do all the hard work, or make most of the hard work that Liquid did, taking Roshan.
This is still contestable for Liquid. If they want to try, they can try to steal it with the Slardar.
He's waiting, and he's too late. The jump will come in. Aegis Immortal are in the hands of the Necrophos, and with the scythe, goodbye Slardar. Execution on public display. Wyvern trying to run back up to the hill, does not have a TP available, so Kuro will have to sit here for 41 seconds with no way to get down. Birds be crippled.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
This is sad to actually watch. But it was its only
I find
place to survive.
I find it mildly entertaining myself, personally.
Is that because you relate?
This never happens to me.
Let's have a look at that fight once more. So Ramses, if you're trying to bait something out from Matumba with the TP, but the epicenter comes in the back lines, and the fact that there's no curse in this fight, just...
A really nice combination here from Miracle makes that fight look pretty good for Liquid, but they don't get the key kills. The Wyvern being dead immediately, and no one is untouched. That's what's important. This Viper can just play with full confidence. There's no way he's going to die in this fight if they don't catch him in the chrono. Ramses backs off, but this whole fight, no one is just running down heroes he wants, and Miracle is not happy to die to the Viper in that instance. VP get great fight, and they get themselves an Aegis for Necro, who, by the way, is getting his Radiance after this creep wave. Big item. These fights are long. Right now. They're really long, and those are the type of fights that Radiance really shines in. You deal so much damage with Necro with Radiance plus Heartstopper Aura over extended fights, and they have the Shallow Grave to make sure Ramses stays alive. And even if he dies, he will deal so much damage before his death, and hopefully for VP get a Scythe off at the very least, and secure a kill.
What's going to be even nicer for them is just this aggression they can have. You can see Team Liquid, like, you want to go the BTs on the Invoker, you want to start the split push happening, but with this Radiance on the front lines, with no one having the range of the Dragonlance and the damage of the Maelstrom, you can actually see him combining up both the physical and the magical to cause real issues for Liquid in every single fight. He's now going to go for Hurricane Plank, so positioning battle as well, but it's all about the tier 3 towers. They need to start doing chip damage to the base. We're 26 minutes in, the panel put a 40-minute clock on this game, and it feels right, but Virtus.Pro, here comes the push. Observer Ward down, they see in deep an aggressive weave, actually connecting onto 3 heroes. The Observer Ward scattered out the smoke as well, so Virtus.Pro knows what's coming, but that's why they put the Aegis Immortal Ramses in the front line. They want to burn out his mana. He does have a lot of one charges up his sleeve. In fact, now with the pipe, they jump in further. The tier 3 tower is falling. VP, are they happy with this? Can they force more? Where is the control? Mind control, stunned up on the side, partial get the forward Burrow Strike. They have the sides available. Protection is available, however, and the Chronosphere may be catching the back lines. This fight in 3 different pieces at the moment. The back wall is there from top to man. They're able to get the kill onto the Dazzle, so at least that save is gone. The Virtus.Pro, they are standing their ground. Miracle needs to do some damage, but can he really do it? He's losing his support. Kuro will fall to no one, and now Matumman in the middle of the fight. They trigger the Linkage Sphere. They're looking for more control, and they may just have it. Matumman jumps away. Remember the battle. No one with his BKB able to battle into GH. He'll bring him down, but more importantly, they're looking towards the mid-racks. Team Liquid, 3 heroes down with no buybacks available, and Virtus.Pro, 27 minutes in, crack the mid-racks like an egg.
The absolutely most important thing for VP for this push is really, really great to watch. Their positioning going into that push was flawless. They have to make sure that there is no angle where Liquid can find the heroes that they want. They're just looking for any 2 or 3 hero vacuum, any 2 or 3 hero chrono, any 2 or 3 hero anything. But look at how these VP heroes are positioned. Sand King bottom right, Ogre top right, then you have the Necrophos in the middle of everything with the Aegis. The Viper is not really a target, and Dazzle is standing at the back. How do you go here, Starkseer? He's gonna run in, get stunned, can't catch anyone. Gets stunned again, can't catch anyone. Now he gets stunned by his teammate, can't catch anyone. Finally the chrono comes in, but it's only the Void dealing damage, so they get 1 support kill, and there comes the epicenter, and they have to run away.
What was so beautiful about that too is the fact that VP actually forced the fight to happen because Mind Control came out. The Faceless Void went for the long way around. Like, he tried to wrap around past where his tier 2 tower was, and that didn't work. But Team Liquid, they're coming out once more. Now, they've smoked up with 5. They do not have Chronosphere, but they want to come from the northern side. Smoke will break. They look towards the back lines of Virtus.Pro as Virtus.Pro just do the same thing again. Aegis, Team Mortal Necro on the front lines. They don't have Epi, but they don't have Chrono.
No one is like, come at me, bro. He's just running. He just ran up there with a haste. He doesn't care.
Yep.
Liquid's got to do something now.
Defensively looking for the back line. 8 seconds until you have it for the Sentry Ward. They see Matama, they trigger the Lincoln Sphere. Mind Control wants to come out, give that Iron Shell burst. The fact with 3-man ball, it could be nice to the side. It doesn't execute Matama, but they're getting double time walking up, and the Chronosphere is huge. It catches SK, it catches Necro. The Aegis Immortal, it's gonna pop. Matama's lost so much life. The curse is on the Viper, so no one standing his ground, but he's just so bloody tanky. They've already turned around this fight. Matama, he time walks up the damage, but he can't time walk off all of it. He's still trying to run back out of the cover of Shadowblade, burning to the Radiance, burning to the Heartstopper Aura, and gets hit by the Death Pulse. 3 heroes down. Invoker has buyback, and they're scrambling everything. VP claim a second lane of racks. Sub 30 minutes. Put on the aggressive weave. All that armor rising and rising. They can go for the GG push and try and force a third deciding game in this lower bracket of TI7.
Got about 15 seconds for the slaughter. They're not going to be able to end the game here, but they'll take whatever they can get. These shrines just get a little bit of extra influx of money, and then probably get this secondary building. No, never mind. He's just going to back off.
They got everything they wanted.
The economy. And that fight wasn't even perfect for VP. And the scary thing in this game as well, when you think about it, is the panel was saying 30 to 40. I was like, you know, if VP's laning stage goes well, this could be a 25-minute game. If they combine their spells and powers and have an Aegis like this, their laning stage didn't even go as well as it could have. It certainly went well enough, as you can tell, but Liquid played a good game. Liquid have been playing very well this game, and it still doesn't feel like they can stop VP at all.
It's just heal, it's strength, it's everything. We were flagging Ogre during the group stage as the hero that just cannot be killed. And you saw just how much commitment it came from Liquid to kill him off. Then you go against a Viper, so much resistance. Ramsey's giving the life, they can't get the hits in, fighting underneath Radiance. Then you got Shallow Grave, which from Lil, in the last 2 fights, hasn't even really been needed. They've got so much just health sustain, that Liquid have no answer to it. And they want to have that big combination, but there's no setup. The Darkseer is trying to do it. The Blink Dagger's on Mind Control. The top of them can get that Chronosphere off. But then your damage has to come from Miracle. He's kind of like the last one left to do it.
And the more I watch games of this year's TI, the more I feel like Dazzle is a first phase pick. I think this hero is just extremely good right now. It's winning so many games. It makes it difficult for the enemy team to fight. It makes it easier for your team to rosh. It makes it easier for your team to push. You always know you have that save. You know you have that weave to get a physical advantage so you can itemize magic resistance and just be extremely tanky. And Axe is pretty bad right now, which is one of the classic counter picks to Dazzle. Nobody really wants to run Axe. You could run AA, but VP banned AA in the second phase, and then they picked up the Dazzle for themselves together with that Necrophos that they grabbed earlier. And it just... He has a full pipe now. Honestly, I don't know how you kill these VP heroes with the Radiant ones right now. Invoker, farmed as he may be, which isn't that great, but you know, you have levels, you have these powerful spells. It's not going to cut it. These heroes won't die. They just won't die.
Good luck.
Yep, pretty much.
But Liquid are not giving up. They're still in this game, which means in their mind, they have a way that they can win. The combination is nice. It just needs to hit the money.
I think at this point it comes down to Liquid finding 3 or 4 hero combinations. 2 hero combinations are not going to win anymore. VP will probably wait for the next Aegis, and then one of the heroes that will expose that Liquid can jump on will have the Aegis, and the other one will have Grave. And they have Pipe, Weave, and lots of heals, so...
The Tupperman's looking for one combination up onto top lane.
This is a good approach.
Ramses, if they can find him, but Ramses TPing in towards the mid. He'll group up with the rest of Virtus.Pro.
I think this is what Liquid needs to do. Their team fight is great, but they can't just wait for VP to run at them. They have to try to find their own opportunities now, and if it's chronoing for a single core and they get a pick off, that's great. They have to combine multiple heroes to make it work.
They can try. It's a 4-hero smoke gang from Virtus.Pro. Ramses not being involved. I think they were hoping they could just let him farm up a little bit more. If he takes his mid farm, he'll have enough for his Octarine, but it's a little bit too late for Ramses.
Could get in the... he's sending down the courier already. He's getting ready.
So Octarine Core, Radiance, Atos, Hooded Defiance, Blink Dagger, and Treads on a 33-minute Necro.
So much heal. It's coming in now.
Yep. Unbelievable. Then they have the amplification from the SK. with his Veil of Discord. You can look towards Roshan. Viper's pumping out a lot of damage now. He's picked up an Orchid as well. A lot of early items which can transition into other items later on, but it's all about that presence that VP can get from their gold right now.
He can solo kill the Invoker now. That's a really big item. He can pike into Orchid, ulti the Invoker, and just start hitting him.
Liquid are coming. Liquid
they
will
have
try
to.
and contest Roshan. It's this or nothing. If they lose this fight, the game is done, and they know it. So GH wants the target. Blinks up, gets the crush. It's over on Lil. Glimmer Cape will allow him to escape. Ramses wants to blink down as Faceless Void looks in the pit and realizes no one is there. Is Kura getting caught out in the mid lane? The Orchid is out. The Scythe will execute him. 75 seconds without him, and the bigger pickoff is Batumama in the river. A time lock can get him up the hill, but still the control is so much Tornado. It can actually create space with the Chrono Spear, but the damage just doesn't exist. GH is locked in the tree line. 3 heroes gone. This could be the game. Liquid needed the fight. They needed the win. And right now, VP can just go mid and take the tier 4 towers. They will be safe, however, and turn back for Roshan.
Might as well just, this is a really important game, so make sure you build that extra advantage before you go high ground. I don't think VP feel like this game is going to get any harder in the next 5 to 10 minutes. With this Aegis, the next fight, if anything, should be easier than the one they just had.
Especially when
Liquid's
Liquid
late
are
game is great, but it's far away, man. They need to go real late to beat this VP lineup.
When Liquid can't even find kills, like, you want to hit a combination. They got the best one they could. Nice Sunstrike onto Ramses. But watch this man just heal. 38.7 a second. That's not too shabby. Miracle, at least can EMP burn him out. Ramses, he didn't actually take the Aegis Immortal. That's in the hands of Viper. The cheese is also in the hands of Viper. Ramses, okay, I know you're strong. Now let's not 1v5. Fire Strike in from Pasha, trying to catch out Mind Control. Already the force up, getting him further away. Viper having insane attack range. And Batumama needs to do something about him, and he knows it, but it's an Aegis Immortal Viper. With Weave already kicking in, his armor just keeps racking up higher and higher.
And he skilled the attack range talent, so this Viper has an attack range of, what's that, 790 with Bloodlust. In comparison, the tower has 700, so no one can actually hit the tower from outside its range, which is this.
Are we looking at Sniper?
And he's flapping his wings pretty fast, I gotta say. This is very impressive. That's really, don't do that.
That's what it looks like, man. He's going too fast for a natural Viper.
Okay.
And they're trying to stop him. There goes the tier 3 tower. Batumama's even having to time walk just to get rid of it, and he gets hit by the weave. So is no one, so that armor once again starts its climb, trying to repair the damage that is done from the amplification, and no one is just bait. They want Liquid to initiate, they want Liquid to use abilities on him, and it's not happening. The Burrow Strike, Wyvern walks out way too far. The Scythe will kill him off. The Chronosphere is beautiful, catching 3. Miracle, do you have the damage? Well, the Necro is down. At least they've got a chance to do this, but now you actually have Viper back up again. Necro moves to front lines. Slana gets pushed away, but he'll go down, and it looks like an inevitable win here for Virtus.Pro. Pasha lacquering on the epicenter. They reveal Miracle with the dust. 4 heroes gone, and GG, well played. We will go to a third deciding game to see who will stay in TI. Will it be Virtus.Pro or will it be Liquid?
Very well executed strategy there from Virtus.Pro. I think Liquid still played a good game. They got the combos off that they could. They had good movements in the early game, barely got killed. Played the lanes pretty well considering what VP's matchups were. But this kind of strategy in this patch, we've seen VP have great success with it. Just these tanky heroes with the backline keeping them alive. And even with all of this damage that Liquid have, it's still not enough, man. Like, these heroes just don't die.
Yeah.
You got to prepare for this for the next game as Liquid. I'm not sure what the key bans are going to be, but they might change it up a little bit. Maybe get themselves something like the AA or something to prevent the healing strategy that VP just ran.
I'm wondering if they also look towards that Necrolite. It seemed real problematic having a hero on the sideline for over a minute. Every time that gank worked from Virtus.Pro, it opened up the opportunities for VP to push into the buildings. Time and time again, this VP lineup, they were looking for early game aggression, and they were able to achieve it. Team Liquid, no big answer. Maybe that's another time when you look at the Liquid heroes. A Darkseer, a hero the panel been flagging as being like one of that defensive heroes, takes too long to farm up. Where was that damage coming in from the Faceless Void? Invoker could never come online, and having all the lanes go poorly for them, apart from maybe a little bit of the extra farm for the Darkseer. Do they go a quicker kind of build?
I don't know in this game if any itemization would have really saved Liquid compared to what they had. Their lineup is just extremely greedy against this kind of lineup. You know, their team fight is good, but their lanes are pretty weak. All of their heroes have build up time. Invoker needs to farm. Darkseer needs to farm. Void needs to farm. And they got the couple of items that they could, but it's just, again, the short version of it, it's just not enough, man. It wasn't enough.
Well, maybe Game 3 will give us all the aggressive heroes we're looking for. Cannot wait for it. We'll be back with it.
That match was about a third as long as the first one. And I got to say, that was a dominating performance by VP. And there was some, murmurings about this in the back. We're kind of feeling like Winter Wyvern is not really the best pick in this entire tournament.
Someone said, I have yet to confirm this, but that it was 117 before this game?
I think 1-18, actually.
Yeah.
0-18
now,
on
I
the main
think.
stage.
That hero's not looking so great. I think we saw the VP they managed to pull this off now. There was some chance that Liquid could fight for a while, but then this Viper was just too strong. VP's lanes, they were strong, and then after that, they kind of just went this 5-man, and Liquid's lineup didn't have time to come online, and they just ran him over.
Can you talk to us a little bit about Viper Bubble and why he's so good in VP's hands?
I think no one has a really good Viper. I think there are not many mid players out there that want to play Viper as well. I know, Pycat's actually a Viper player.
I like Viper.
Yeah.
I used to be a Viper
I think
player.
Viper's awesome.
Like if you go and ask a player like Sumil or Abed or Miracle, if they want to play Viper, I don't think they're going to say yes. But no one loves playing that hero. He's been playing it for many years. He loves playing the heroes that will just own the lane. This is always kind of how he plays, and he plays around. It's like a lot of the Russian players, the mid players, they play around how Dendi. Remember how on Na'Vi, Dendi used to care a lot about his mid lane. I think they all looked up to him, and then they have the same kind of play style, like these Vipers. And I know no one just cares a lot about it. And that's why VP they play a lot around no one. So I think the problem is picking Invoker like this and the fourth pick when your second pick, it just led up to them picking Viper. But I felt maybe they should have last picked. I think they should try and maybe last pick the mid hero this time. In general, I think VP kind of figured out the draft. I also think because you banned Wisp Coddle, like what I said before the first game as well, I don't think you should give Liquid Wisp or Coddle, but I think the Shaker is manageable. And so I think they're going to do the same thing. I think it's a toss-up on who gets first pick as well, so it's going to decide a lot. Because I think even though second pick does have this last pick, I feel like when it comes down to it in these tournaments, even the MDL finals and the Kiev, I thought first pick generally usually has a better win rate. So, because people figure out counters and stuff and how to draft better on first pick. So you have on first pick you kind of have 3 counter picks, or even 4 in some situations. And then VP just used it really well. They saw the Darkseer, they picked Necro, saw the Invoker, they picked Viper, and then they last picked the Sand King, and then I think they picked the Void, and then the Sand King had a free lane. So it was 3 lanes basically won by VP.
Yeah, I mean, literally every single lane problem you identified before happened. I mean, Necrophos got so much farm at the start of that game. Darkseer did nothing. I think Darkseer even almost got a kill. Or excuse me, Necrophos almost got a kill on Darkseer very early on in the lane, pushed him out right around level 7, and had 20k at 30 minutes. I mean, Kevin, talk to us about the start of that game, because pretty much VP took control immediately.
Yeah, they really did. Like Bobo pointed out, the matchups were very good. On VP's side, they had the Sand King versus the Faceless Void, which gives Sand King a nice matchup. Now, the important crucial moment is your stun more than 2 seconds? If it is, any damage you deal during that 2 seconds can't be removed by Time Walk. So, big lane advantage since Sand King already works well against melee heroes. That was great. They did punish Viper a good amount in the mid lane, but ultimately when they rotated both of the supports there to cover no one, his laning dominance just kind of continued. And in the mid game, Sand King had some really good Blink Dagger epicenters to limit Miracle's ability to get ahead. And then, like you said, the safe lane was also good. So lanes across the board, great for VP. Very reminiscent of their previous strategies, and we could really see it when they went for the high ground in the mid-racks, separating their cores to make sure they don't get Chronosphered. I mean, this is the 3rd time they've played this kind of strat against the Faceless Void, so I think they've got lots of practice. And the other thing is keeping the Dazzle in the back line to make sure he doesn't get caught with anybody. That way he can save somebody if they're Chronosphered. And we see them so spread out that even Darkseer going in, trying to find an opening, can't get it. Now, the important thing for Darkseer here is if he can group up all the enemy heroes with Vacuum, they can follow it up with a Slardar stun or a Chaos Meteor or Winter Wyvern ultimate, something like that. So as long as VP stays just far enough, it's very difficult for them to initiate. And every single time that Darkseer tries to move forward to initiate, gets stunned. Now he gets Cold Embrace. All in the meantime, no one gets to run at other people, force out bad ultimates from Winter Wyvern. They do ultimately kill the Dazzle, but the fight looks about even, but ultimately VP is going to win it because they have the better high ground siege heroes that can sustain. So very interesting to see this strategy finally pay off versus Avoid, and made it a fast game.
You're going to say Pycat?
No?
Oh, you weren't?
No. I think one thing actually about this game that I wanted to talk about was both these teams, they really like winning lanes. They really like they thrive when they win lanes. They want to be the ones pressuring. They both want to win lanes. I think they want to do it for different reasons. Liquid, as I see it, they want to win the lanes so that they kind of buy time for Miracle to get online. And VP, they just do it because that's how they play. They pressure, they win lanes, they pressure, and they just keep doing it. And I think this next game, I think is going to be really important. Like whoever kind of pressures first, I think is going to be the person who gets ahead and has a very good chance at winning the game.
So if you guys had priority, which one do you pick, first or second pick? Because we talked about if you have second pick, you have that weird fourth pick where you have to reveal a core before they have their fourth and fifth pick.
I still think I like second pick, because just the last pick alone it feels so strong this tournament.
But if you're like first pick and you're Liquid, you probably get one of ES, Keeper plus IO.
But I feel like at least if VP do that, they can at least plan. You know, they can give them the one that they want to give them, and they can also prepare a counter. You can pick some, Rubik into the Shaker, or you can get the Night Stalker or the Nyx into the Coddle. Maybe giving them the Coddle seems a little bit scary, like the first game, but
No, I think Liquid shouldn't ban the Shaker. They should. I don't think VP will first pick Shaker. I have that feeling. I think they should leave the Shaker in the pool and maybe try and get it, and maybe ban something like counters their playstyle if they are not first pick. I think if they win the coin toss and get first pick, I think that's like they're gonna love it, because Liquid has like the 3 strats basically around the support heroes, and then their 4th strat, which is the Darkseer Slardar, it feels a lot weaker I think compared to the other 3 for sure. So like you can see like they have these 3 strategies, and the rest of the strategies are a bit weaker, because Slardar in general in this patch, I feel like he's a very slow support. Like, I mean, obviously he runs fast, but in general he doesn't really do anything before his blink. And same for Darkseer. Like I think Darkseer's like only been winning versus Tro Ranger, but in general I feel also that hero is kind of weak in the current patch for the offlane hero pool. Generally in this patch, I think in your offlaners, like you want kind of heroes that can do something before they get levels and farm. But Darkseer, he needs so much. He takes so much farm from you, and he doesn't really give you much damage or control. He just gives you this vacuum, and people are also way better at playing versus a vacuum, like what Purge showed. It's like very easy to position yourself, especially when you have a Viper. So.
Do any of these teams play Meepo? I saw a Meepo ban, I think.
Yeah, it was the last ban.
Yeah.
I don't remember who did the last ban, but
I don't know. I don't think I've seen these teams play
think so
Meepo.
No.
I'm not sure if maybe Liquid can play it, maybe Miracle or Matumbo can play it. I'm not sure. It's not common. I don't think I've seen them. No, it's not.
Tell us about your secret scrim knowledge, Bobo.
No, I don't think. I think Miracle's played it before, but
Okay. I was just curious because I saw 5th ban Meepo. I was like, who plays that hero?
I'm particularly curious to see how Team Liquid will adjust. We saw the Ogre Magi picked first, which kind of immediately signals that there's a wish to pressure lanes, and the Winter Wyvern seemed like a not proactive choice. We saw that it was used very defensively with Invoker, just trying to heal him back up, and even then, God, 7 minutes into the game, it was 30 last hits for Viper to 10.
Wyvern's usually like counterpick for some heroes.
So my basis on Wyvern is I also feel statistically there is it's like falsified in the way that only Western teams have picked Wyvern, and generally all the Western teams are losing, and that's why the stat is so bad if you look at it that way. And Chinese teams don't pick Wyvern. I don't think I've seen any Chinese team, and Chinese teams are owning every game of this tournament. So that is like logically why Wyvern is doing well. I think the hero is still fine. The right game, his Q spell, the first spell got really, really buffed. The problem is the hero does have some mid-game issues, because he doesn't really do anything in the mid-game compared to other supports. His save is very lackluster, and then he doesn't really have catch. So I think that's mainly the big thing, because this game is so mid-game dependent, but I do think like that stat is also because every Western team picks Wyvern. So I'm not sure, maybe the Western teams are bad, or maybe the hero is bad.
But I mean, if you were to pop out Winter Wyvern and replace it with a different hero, what do you think would slot in better? I mean, assuming that there was that Darkseer Slardar strategy that you've called like the fourth strategy for Team Liquid.
Maybe you can go with the Witch Doctor, or try to take the Dazzle of the. I think the Dazzle was picked after Wyvern, if I'm not mistaken.
Sounds correct. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
I
like
think they
Dazzle
could have went for something like a Dazzle or a Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor synergizes pretty nicely with Slardar. You get the ult and the amp.
Then you have a Witch Doctor, though.
Hey man, Witch
Sounds
Doctor.
great.
He can win games.
Throws casks around, man. You get infinite bounces.
Wyvern used to be picked for like Lycan and Beastmaster and Drow, but we haven't really seen it counterpicked any of those. Just mostly like Sven. It's a little strange to see.
Yeah, I think you have to use that hero to win the lanes. I don't think you use him for the ult to counter this physical core. The old Wyvern on TI5 patch was like insanely broken because when you ultied someone, you could still do damage to them. But now I feel like this Wyvern ult is it's actually really hard to use.
Well, as we're getting set up for the final game, of course, the players have just made their way to the booths. Slacks is with some fans, and let's hear from them what they think of the match.